Now, when we're here and we go to the hump bump, the big mistake everyone keeps making, that I'm seeing week after week, is people keep bringing their body in first and then trying to bring the leg behind. But if I slam my body in first, he's already going to start turning his hip defense, my leg can't get behind. What I need to do is, if I was shooting for the hump bump, the leg needs to get there first. The shoulder coming in is going to be a natural consequence of the leg getting in. Here. See, my shoulder hits just because the leg's going. So, you really need to lead with this. Obviously, when I say lead, I don't mean like this. You'll go over, okay, your chest is still here, you're still fighting, but the leg needs to enter. A really good cue for this is imagine you're kicking a football. Here, kick the football, your leg rotate behind, and you're there. If your arm's out when you do that, you hold his hip. Now, in armour, obviously we're wider, we're bigger, quite often we get there and you end up hip to hip and then you can't pop them. When that happens, you need to rotate your hips. Here, circle. Now in armour, my advice is practice to always do it. So don't practice to do it when you fail, practice that when you get here, you always 2 wiggles and you bend them like this. And then from there, you pivot off to drop them to the floor. So what this should look like when you're doing this is here, like that. If you practice to always put those 2 wiggles in, that way it doesn't matter, you will always win. Because when you're hitting this here, if you have to go, oh shit, I failed to then start, there's a good chance he will already be turning to defend, and then the wiggle might not work. If you hit this and you're already behind, then the wiggle just makes it really bad for him. I mean, look at the position he's in. He's going to be able to escape from you now when I start doing not. So always put those 2 wiggles in. So you're just going to get a partner, and you can enter at it from here, here, or you can enter the hump bump from here, like this. Practice both sides with your partner. Practice entering from the front and from the side. Like I said, in Buhurt, this is just one of the most effective throws. And in 2-on-1, this is the single most effective throw. Because if these two are wrestling each other, and I'm coming in here, I can pretty much always get that from any angle. And if we're doing this 2-on-1, when I enter it, if I just shout hump and bump, JP knows what I'm doing at that point, he can just push Barney and put it really easy. One thing I've seen lots of quality when you're doing this is you're looking into each other's eyes here. You both look at your partner, because this puts this weird space, puts my chest here. If he can reverse me from here to where my chest is here. When I do this here, I'm actually going to be looking away from him, because I'm one of my core tight and crouched down, look at the position he's in from here. If I turn towards him, he immediately puts my chest up, we can do this to him. It's a bad training habit we all want to do whenever we're doing any pro wrestle, is we want to look at the person. If you're looking at the person to create space, you have to look away. You should always, in any throw, be looking away from your partner, because then that puts my hips next to him here. There's no space for him. So just be really mindful of that, because I'm looking around, and I'm seeing almost every group do it at some point. You're looking towards each other. No, look away. Okay? Get back to it and just make a real point. Don't look at each other. So we're going to do this as a 2-on-1 move now. So, this is obviously what I'll talk about, is if these two are fighting here, I can enter into the hump bump, and like I said, it really does help if I literally just shout, this is one like anime character. It really makes a difference. When I come in here and I go hump bump, Mike, you need to push, and even if I do a shitty hump bump like that, the guy can go down really easily, because the body can give a direction. Even if I was pinning JP to the list, obviously it's very hard for Barney to throw JP from there, but again, if I'm running in, I go hump bump, I can pretty much always enter into it on a 2-on-1. There's almost no position where it's just not an enterable position, other than if JP was pinning Barney and I'm on Barney's team. That's like the only time it doesn't work. So, again, you've got to get to threes now. I want you to practice it from this position, where they're actually facing each other, and I come down here, and practice it where JP, or your partner's always flat, you come in, hump bump, and all Barney has to do is just push. Okay. Now, one of the other positions that this works from, this now, is if I'm here. So I don't actually need to be facing the guy anymore. I can actually just be driving in here, and I can assist Barney here with it. So where that's useful is in 12s and 30s, it becomes a clusterfuck. Like you end up with like literally stacked 4 deep on the rail. That's where this version is particularly effective. If I could just borrow you for a second. Now, imagine Barney and my two, JP, and these two are coming in, trying to get me and Barney back here. Barney, bump.
Yeah.
There we go. Because that's an actual situation that happens all the time in 12s and 30s. Is you end up 3 versus 2 stacked like that. Okay? And I can defend 2 people, keep them off Barney's back, allow Barney to work, but still assist Barney in a 12-1 by just driving my shoulders back into JP and just walking down the rail like this, here in direction.
Or if somebody's failed a head rut.
Hmm?
If JP heads up you and failed and you're driving them back.
Yeah, that's the other way it can work, is if JP's failed the head grip, and I've bended it here, or that. I could do it from there as well. So there's lots of different situations where it works from that angle. Okay, so you're going to get into 3s now, and you're going to practice it from as a 2-on-1, from the different angles. Now communication on it is really simple. You say hump when you attempt it. If it does fail, yours. That just tells your partner it's their turn to give it a go. If I would do a hump and fail, I'd say yours. If I can move on to something else, do a hump and bump, etc. Yours, mine, hump and bump, literally, very 3 words you need for this situation. Okay? Low resistance, very low resistance. You just practice entering that hump and bump from a 2-on-1 situation now.